This is Terry Collins with It's All About Sports, and we're here live in Maryland. I'm actually here with Clarence Carlos, who is the CEO and chairman of
RC21X.
RC21X, and also former Baltimore Raven Ray Lewis. First of all, guys, tell me how this situation came about.
Well, when we went out looking for a good partner to partner with, we wanted to deal with the best in the game, and we were introduced to Ray Lewis, and we knew that Ray was the hardest hitting and the best in the game, and we watched him because I'm from Pittsburgh, so we know what Ray could do.
He really didn't like me.
But we learned to love each other. I'm just telling you, because he's real. And Ray was, when we ran the tool past Ray and told him what it was about, and it's about every kid, not just kids playing sports and athletics, but it's about everybody that goes to school. It's about older people. It's about caregivers, taking care of your brain health and monitoring your brain performance, health, and wellness. And Ray fit right into that because Ray understands about taking care of the body. As he said out there, diet, exercise, nutrition, socialization, spirituality are key ingredients to you taking care of your brain.
And Ray, with you being a football player and so much being talked about the brain injuries and concussions and things like this, how helpful can this program be?
I just think, man, that as soon as you really start exercising, your brain the way you exercise your body, your life will change. Kids, we always look to run fast and jump high, but I think if we actually start feeding the brain, I don't believe in, the stat that says we only use 10% of our brain. Because I believe if you're connected to God, you're losing way more than 10%. But I think we have to challenge our kids now to expand their minds. Social media and a lot of stuff is really dumbing down, our kids' expansion on what their imagination is. So the moment Clarence and them called me and I said, send me it. Let me go through it. Let me actually see it. And once I saw it, man, I was like, really? Like, this is really creative. And if you ever go on it and really try it, it will really challenge you mentally. And I think if you give these to young kids, it will change where they're trying to go. And so I think it's a great partnership. I'm excited on where we have on where we're going. And so to give it to these kids is kind of the blessing to it all.
Okay, now real briefly, tell us about what the app is and how people can get this app.
Yes, the app is a 6-minute brain health checkup. There are certain games, there's about 7 of them, to test stress certain areas of the brain. And we establish your baseline, and at any time you could monitor your brain or your parents or your school and tell where your limited resources are. So if there's a certain area that there's limited resources, now you can work on those areas. As I said, there's certain things you can do with diet, exercise, nutrition, socialization, spirituality. But there's other things you can do to increase those areas in the performance of your brain.
But you can see them, though. Like, one of the things that you got to point out is you can see your improvement every time, and you can see where you're deficient at as well. Right, and that's where I think the real credibility is. Instead of going to the doctor and say what's wrong, right, and they say, oh, give them medication. No, before you do that, challenge them to make their brain expand. And so that's why I think every time you go on the app, you learn something different every time. And there's a baseline to see what it is. Where am I struggling? Where am I achieving? And I think for me, that's the biggest catch, is that there's so much growth to it. Because for me to partner with anything, it has to be growth. It has to be able to be scalable to take us not from just kids, but to adults as well. Yeah.
Okay, and last thing, I know a lot of parents nowadays are looking for their kids to get to the level that you achieved in the NFL and be the next great players, such as the Ray Lewises and the Ed Reeds. Explaining to them how important this is to have their kids involved in this here to help them reach that level.
I think the exact same time that they're spending, like I got kids myself, and the exact same time that they're spending on these phones, challenge them. Like, put this in their hands. Right, because if you want them to really, it's only 1% going to ever make it. That's factual, And so what makes that 1% really stick out? I always say, if you got a crowd of people, what makes you stand out? What makes somebody, and you're talking about educating the mind, 3-part beings, mind, body, spirit, right? We'll feed the body, right? We'll pray sometimes. But how focused are we on actually feeding the brain? Like, feeding it every day? Because, look, it's factual, right? If you don't feed it, it dies. That's what the brain does. And that's why I think parents should really get involved, man, to find out what RC21X is all about, because it's a tool that you can check your kids' baseline every second of the day. Yeah.
Well, there you have it from Clarence Carlos as well as Ray Lewis. Roberto is the app. Everybody go ahead and download that. Look out for it. It's a very helpful tool. And I'm Terry Collins with It's All About Sports, and we'll be back with more interviews next.